Okay, we're back. So number 11, you ask yourself, what are they doing to the variable h? Well, they are multiplying it by -5, and they've got a -8 in front. So first, we're going to get rid of the -8. In order to get rid of a -8, we'd have to do the opposite. We'd have to get rid of the 8 by adding 8. That's the only way that the -8 is going to disappear. So we're going to add 8 always on both sides. 17 plus 8 is 25. We're going to bring down the -5h. Now we're going to divide by a -5 on both sides. Again, this is multiplying and dividing by a negative number on both sides. The inequality sign switches. It's what we call the twist. You can see it and read more about it on your ISN, page 56. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. One negative means the answer is going to be -5. -5 is less than or equal to h. Graphing. It's got a filled in circle. -5 is in the middle. Worse than 0.5 would be 0.6 and 0.7. Better is 0.4 and 3. So the inequality symbol is opening toward the h. The hungry mouth is opening toward the h. That means h is better than $5. Better than $5 would be 0.4 or 3. Now let's double check with what we know about where the placement of the variable is. Here the variable's on the regular side. Nope, it's on the opposite side where it usually is. It's on the right. So if the variable's on the right, the sign is going to be wrong. So this inequality sign is not the direction you shade. It's going to be opposite. Okay, on to the next page, page 3. Number 12 and 13 just says, the directions say, write the word sentence as an inequality. Doesn't say graph, doesn't say solve. So it's not so hard. A number b subtracted from 9.8 is greater than -3. A number b subtracted, so we know we're going to be subtracting, from. That means you have to have whatever happens after the word from first. Same goes with the word than. If you have something after the word than, with regular equations, you put whatever's after it in front. So you have to have the 9.8 first before you can subtract b from it. So you put 9.8 minus b is greater than -3. And that's it. In my notes for my correcting, you can give half credit for these if somebody had an issue, if they had it a little bit different. But just ignore those notes. You're going to know how to do it for the real test like this. Number 13, the quotient. Quotient means to divide of a number y and -3 is less than 6.5. So we have y divided by -3 is less than 6.5. Easy peasy. If you wrote it this way, it's okay, but this way is really what you're going to see a lot in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. So this is the more friendly format. This is what we're going for. But if you did it this way, you'd still get credit. Number 14 and 15 have different directions. Tell whether the given value is a solution of the inequality. So the given value is over here. X equals 0.8, and here c equals -25. So we're going to substitute those numbers in where the variable is. So if you put the x as 0.8 minus 2, that's going to be -1.2. They're saying is greater than or equal to 1.6. No, it's not. So it's false, or no, or if you write it like this, it would be not a solution. So let's write this in. Not a solution. That's actually the best answer. Now, number 15 has -2/5 c is less than 7. So we're going to plug in -25 here. Again, we can do factor bubbles, divide these both by 5, and you're going to get -2 times -5, which is +10. Is +10 less than 7? No. That's not going to work either. No or false. But the best way that you can write it, again, is not a solution. Alrighty, number 16. These are just the graphing, just making sure you know how to graph inequalities. You didn't even have to solve for it. Page 1 and 2 was much harder than these numbers. So let's look at number 16. So if we're graphing -4, remember that negative numbers to the left are going to get bigger, and to the right they're going to get smaller. So it's got the crayon, so it's filled in circle. X is better than owing $4. Better than owing $4 would be owing 3 and owing 2. Again, this arrow tip, because the variable's on the left, matches this arrow tip. So you shaded the correct direction. Number 17, A is greater than 1.8. So you're going to put 1.8 in the middle. Again, you can use the same tip. Pretend it's like 18. So less than 18 would be 17 and 16. Greater would be 19 and 20. And then you just go back through and put your little decimal points in. It does not have the or equal to line, so A has got to be greater than 1.8. So I think about this as like $1.80. So A has got to be greater than $1.80. It could be $1.81, $1.82, but it cannot be exactly $1.80. So it's got an open circle, color to the right. Letter K is the number 18 is the variable K is less than 1/3. So here I also just treat it like, can I show you with my pen? I treat it like the numerators are the number line, and then I go back through and I just put them all over 3. So if I put the 1 in the middle, then less than 1 would be 0 and -1, greater would be 2 and 3, and then I'd put over them, or I'd put them all over 3's, just to make it easy for myself. Again, it's got no crayon, no or equal to line, so K has got to be less than 1/3. It can't be exactly 1/3, so you have an open circle, and less than 1/3 would be 0/3 and -1/3 in that direction. Alrighty, last 4. Solve the inequality, graph the solution. Okay, so this is more like pages 1 and 2 from the test, but easy. X minus 3/5 is greater than 1/5, so to do the opposite, I'm going to add 3/5 on both sides. I just noticed that I don't have the line down, so let me do those. Just so you see consistency, how you break the inequality into 2 sides also. So we always undo on both sides, and we mean on both sides of the inequality sign line or the equal sign, depending on if it's an equation or an inequality. Speaking of which, you have in your ISN page 55. And page 55 is a great page that talks all about how Unit 3 and Unit 4 are alike and different. Unit 3 was all about solving equations. Unit 4 is all about solving inequalities. And you were able to realize they have 4 things in common. You begin with the line, you use the inverse operation, you do the math, and you state the solution. But then they have, how are they different? And how are they different? It's got 4 examples. They're different in regards to the answer, the graphs, the difficulty level, and the sign. And let's see if I can get that in there. There are more examples here. It reminds you about the twist, how when you multiply by a negative number on both sides, the sign switches. And that's only about 1 out of 4 problems will the inequality sign switch. So you've got these resources. Reminder, you also should have made your own thinking map for page 54. And you can choose to orient it vertically or horizontally, but let's see if I can give you a quick shot of this. Lift up the camera. Okay, it should look something like this, so that you've got it to reference. And you remember all the different parts and how Unit 3 is really the same as Unit 4. So if any of you need to review and do the Unit 3 test, remember it's easier because you don't have to do the graphing, but it's the same exact steps. Okay, enough of a commercial about Unit 3 and Unit 4 and the ISN. Now, looking at number 19, you're going to say 1/5 plus 3/5 is 4/5. X is greater than 4/5. So it's going to be an open circle, color to the right. Again, I did that trick where I put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I put them all over 5s. Number 20, they are adding 1/2, so you're going to subtract 1/2 on both sides. 5 minus 1/2 is 4.5. You could change it to an improper fraction if you want to. Then you could use the same trick that I was talking about. Or you could just graph and say things like 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. Either way, it's going to be an open circle, color to the left. Number 21, they are adding 2.8, so you're going to subtract 2.8 on both sides. But be careful. This is a negative 0.3 and a negative 2.8, so this is going to be the rule, same, add, keep. Don't be sign blind. Make sure that you're keeping that negative sign. You're going to bring it down for your answer. 2 negatives added together makes a bigger negative. So C is greater than or equal to negative 3.1. Down here you could pretend it's negative 31, negative 32, negative 33 would go to the left, negative 30 and negative 29 would go to the right. Then you just go back and put your decimal points in. Put your decimal points, it's all good. It does have the crayon, the or equal to line, so C is greater than or equal to negative 3.1. So you're going to fill in the circle. If I was treating this like real life, I would say Casey has more or exactly a debt of $3.10. Casey owes me exactly $3.10 or more. Last problem. And remember, you're always going to triple check your answers. Last problem. A person who is under 18 years old is often considered a minor. Write an inequality that represents this situation. So M was representing minor. A minor is less than 18, or 18 is greater than a minor. Either of those would work perfectly, but it cannot be or equal to because an 18-year-old is not a minor anymore. As soon as you're 18, bam! And we're trying to make sure that you know all the good things that you need to know so that you'll be ready when you turn to be 18 and you're an adult. Thank you so much. That's it for the Chapter 4 practice test.